Now we will work on the fourth part of this 4.8 operations on mixed numbers. So it's supposed to be part 4, which we add and subtract mixed numbers. Okay, now before we really start with that, let's recall a couple of things first. For example, now this time you need to think a bit slowly. What is negative 7 minus 4? Now we know this is negative 11, but let's slow down a little bit why we say this is negative 11. Well, the way we see it by partition, right? We are adding the same sign, therefore we do the sign negative, and then we add the numbers 11. Now what happened is sometimes because we do it so fast, we don't really know what is the technique behind this. Let's change a little bit to another type of problem. Let's say if I have negative 347 plus 215. What do we usually do first? We do the sign. The negative belongs to the larger number, so this will be, and you add opposite sign, so it will be negative, right? And then the number will be, you subtract these two numbers. What we usually do then, we do it aside, we subtract these two numbers, right? Because they are opposite signs, and we subtract big minus small. So the sum here will be negative 132. Okay, now that's the idea behind this. Adding and subtracting mixed numbers will follow the technique we did it there. If they are the same sign, we copy the sign, and then we see if in this case we add the numbers, in this case we subtract. Now in this case, however, on the first example, we did it mentally because the number is small. The second one here, I don't think we will do it mentally, and therefore we do the pancake. Now when it comes to mixed number, we need to slow down. Let's see, for example, if I have let's say negative 2 1/3 minus let's say 3 1/2. Let's say we have this to compute. Let's mimic this situation. We have negative number, negative 2 1/3 minus 3 1/2. What the sign is? The sign will be negative, right? Okay, because we are adding the same sign, we keep the sign. But what happened to the numbers? Do we add or subtract? This is where we need to write this aside work. Do we add or subtract? We are adding the same sign, so we will add the numbers. 2 1/3 plus 3 1/2. Okay, now the technique is basically we try to do the problems in a way that we only deal with the positive numbers. Okay, now how to add these 2 1/3 and 3 1/2? The LCD is 6, right? So I have 2 2 6 plus 3 and 3 6. When I add this, I get 5 5/6. Now that's if we add these two numbers, right? Now coming back here, we already did the sign, and we need to add the numbers, which sum is 5 and 5/6. Okay, now I hope you don't get distracted with the details. Pay attention to the technique. When we are adding two negatives, you keep the sign and you add the numbers, right? Now we will add the numbers aside. Okay, actually you don't have to do the LCD here. You can do the LCD there. Let's take a look. For example, let me do it here. another example. Let's say 34 2/5 minus 49 1/2. Okay, the first thing I will do the LCD, right? 34 4/10, that the LCD is 10. Right? And then from here we see, oh, I'm subtracting small minus big. 34 minus 49 5/10, right? Okay, small minus big, that will be negative. But what is the number? The number can be done by, let's see aside, because we are subtracting these, then we will subtract which one? This guy minus that guy. 49 5/10 minus 34 4/10, that will give me 15 1/10. Okay, so the final answer for this, small minus big, that's negative, and when I subtract, that will be negative 15 1/10. Okay, now think about this. Suppose I change the question a little bit. I hope that helps us to think in a proper way. How do you do this problem? This will be negative, right? Okay, small minus big. And how do you get the number? 49 minus 34, which you did mentally, and you get 15. Okay, now the problem is, if you have fractions there, I would like you to write it aside. Organize your mind, basically. This helps us to organize, okay, this is what I need to do, and that's what I have in the end. Now, let's move further. Let's now do big numbers. Suppose I have 649. How about 5/6, and then minus 700 1/4. Let's say that's the question. Now here I need to do the LCD, which is 12, I believe. The numerator here will be 10, and the numerator here will be 3, right? Okay, now if I continue working on this, again, this is small minus big, so I will have negative, right? And then how about the numbers? The number here will be coming from this minus that one, right? This guy minus that guy. Aside, we'll do 703/12 minus 649 and 10/12. How to subtract this? Notice that the fractional part here is not enough to pay for that one, so I need to do borrowing, right? Now, but when I do borrowing, I hope we remember how to do that. I borrow 1 from this 700, it becomes 699, and then the fractional part will be 15/12 minus 649 10/12, which will give me the whole number minus whole number is 50, and the fractional part will be 5/12. Right? So let's go back there. The result of subtracting this by that is this one. That's 50 5/12 with that negative. Okay, now out of all these operations here, well, it seems like we always have negative numbers, but that's just happened. I want you to remember that every time you add, subtract, multiply, divide with positive, negative numbers, always worry the sign first. Always worry the sign first. Now let's try another problem. For example, if I have negative 247, let's say 17 over 20 minus negative 307 over 25, let's say. What do you think we will do first? I think we will do the smiling face first, right? Negative 247, 17 over 20 plus 307 over 25. Now then from here, to add mixed numbers, we need LCD. Negative 247 something over the LCD, I think is 100 plus 300 something over 100 here. I multiply this by 5, so the top multiplied by 5 give me 85. Here, dot 25 times what give me 100 times 4, so on the top if I multiply by 4, that gives me 28. Okay, now we are adding different sign, therefore the sign of the sum will follow the larger number, which is this one. It will be positive. Okay, but what happened to the number part? Do we add or subtract? Because we are adding different signs, we will subtract numbers. Now, let's do it aside. Now, never trust yourself that you can do it visually. Trust me. When it comes to my question, you don't want to do it that way. 328 over 100 minus 247.85 over 100. Then from here we see, can we subtract directly? I don't think so, because the fractional part here is not enough for that fraction. Now then I need to do borrowing. This will be 299 128 over 100. I hope we remember how to do this. The reason I get 128 is really by adding these two numbers here, the numerator and denominator, minus 247.85 over 100. That will give me 52 and 43 over 100. Okay, so the final answer here will be 52 and 43 hundredths. Okay, I hope this explanation is clear enough.